Hello and welcome all of you to my third session on Rest Assured Test Automation Framework demonstration. So, in my first session, I discussed with you what are the prerequisites that we need in order to start with this automation framework. So, in my second session, I discussed with you how to create your first Maven project and how to configure the POM file adding dependencies and how to install software externally into Eclipse. And in my third session, that means in today's session, I'll discuss with you how to start with the test implementation. So this is the lineup. Initially, I'm going to create a class. I'm going to show you how to create a class, and then I'm going to show you how to create a function, and then how to add the test annotations to the function, and then how to run an API request. Um, and then how to print the output of the response as well as how to add the assertions. So yes, let's get started with the demonstration. So I have started Eclipse here and I have loaded the project which I have started, that means which I have created in my previous session, which is REST Assured Training Demo. So in here, that day I showed you how to configure the POM file, right? So when we save the POM file, normally we get this Maven dependencies, uh, like like this. So we need all these things, but in case if you don't see this Maven dependencies branch in this tree view, uh, you can get it manually. So simply you have to right click on this project and go to Maven, and then click on this one, update project, then you will get it. So first, so I'm going to close this and I'm going to create my first class here. So in here you can see there are several folders. SRC main Java, SRC main resources, SRC test Java, and so on. So I'm going to use this one, SRC test Java. So I have to add the class here. Simply I have to right click and create a test package. Right click on this, new, and go to package, and then I have to give a name to my package. So I'll give it as test and then I'll finish it. So inside this particular package, I'm going to create a new class. Right click on this and then go to new and then select class. So for my class, I have to give a name. So I'll give it like this, test scenarios. So in here you can see there are several options, right? So if you want to create a main method, you can select this one. So like that, based on your preference, you have to select or check these check boxes. So for now, I'll deselect everything and say finish. So with that, you can see my test class got created. And next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a function. Okay. So I'll do it like this, public void. Void is the return type, and when giving the name of the functions, it's so under the best practices we normally give meaningful names, right? But in this case I'm just giving it as function 1, function 2, and like that. But when you are doing it for real, you can give very meaningful names. So in here you can see an error comes, right? Because I have started this curly brace but I haven't closed it. When I click enter, then that closing bracket automatically appears. Okay, so this is the range of the particular function. So whatever we type within this range becomes the body of this particular function. Okay, so now I'm going to run an API request. That means so for that we need to have an endpoint, right? So for that I'm going to browse and search a particular API. I'll show you how to do this so you also can do it from the beginning just like me. Um, just browse it like that, like this, REST API for testing. So scroll down a bit and go to this particular URL, reqres.in. So when you load this web page, you can see there exists some fake REST APIs in this web page, like get, post, put, patch, delete, everything is there. So you can use these things, these fake APIs for testing purposes, right? So when I click this one, so here this is the endpoint. So here comes the response. So I'm going to just click on this one. Okay, so it shows the response it gives. So I'm just going to copy this part. Okay, and let's see. So here I'm going to create a variable. So for that, I'll use the class rest assured. So you can see you get these suggestions. But in case if you do not get the suggestions, you can simply press Control plus spacebar in your keyboard, and you will get these suggestions. So I'm going to use this io.rest assured. Um, so you can see this is imported automatically when I selected that one, and then I'm going to give a sorry when I click on dot. Okay, then you can see there are several options, right? I can give get, or else I can give put. So all these comes from this rest assured library, and I can delete anything, post, everything is there, right? mm, so so what I'm going to give here is get. So it comes, so I have what I have to do is just select that one, and within double quotations you have to paste the copied endpoint here, and then simply so you can see there's an error in red color, right? So I can just zoom this one so you can clearly see this. um, you can adjust the size um, based on your preference using these arrow keys. And yes, so let me tell you why we get this error. It is because we haven't put the semicolon here. So when I put the semicolon, all the errors disappears, and I have to save this. And the other thing what I have to do is to create the response, right? For that, I'm going to use another class from rest assured, that is response. So here also I get the suggestions. So I'll just click this one, and you can see it is also getting imported. And then I'm going to create a variable. So since this is case sensitive, you can see that this identifies these as two different things, right? So this is my variable, and then the value of my variable is this. Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to since we have the variable, when I click this dot, then I get many options like this, right? I can get the status code, I can get the body, get class, get content, whatever it is we can do. So for now I'm going to get the status code. So in here also we have to put the semicolon at the end. And what else we can do? We can get um, we can get time, right? Yes, for now these two things would be enough, right? Okay, now say for example we want to get these things printed. For now, for that, you know how to print a particular statement or a text in Java. For that we have to give system.out.println, right? So this shortcut is just type sys and control space, then you get this one. Just click on that, and then give whatever you want to print here. So I'm going to cut this part and paste it here, and same as earlier, so control space and click this one, and then I'm going to cut this and paste this here. Okay. Okay, so now we have completed writing the test case. So now we want to run this one. So simply if you right click on this one and go to run as, so you see only a run configurations option. So can you guess why this comes? So what we need to get here is a test ng option, right? So this is because we haven't added the test ng annotation. So that is the most important thing, because in front, I mean, before this function, we have to add the annotation. Otherwise, we can't run the test. Okay, here comes an error, right? So when you hover over this, so you can see there are some options. So you can get the so this test annotation is an annotation of both testng as well as JUnit. But what you have to do is you have to import it from testng. Then only it becomes a testng annotation. Okay, so now you should be able to get the when you click on run as, then you should be able to get the this option, um, as test ng test. So in case if you do not get this again, then you can go to run configurations and do the configurations. That means you can add your class to the wizard, or the window you get there, right? Then you will get, but most probably when you add the annotation, you should be able to run this using test ng. So I'm going to save this. Okay, here comes an error. When you have these syntax errors, please correct them before you run them. So now I save my work, and then I right click on my test class, and then I'm going to run this. Okay, if you don't see this output file, you can click on this option, right, in the corner, and you can see this is green color. That means it is getting through. Okay. Um, so if you go to the console, so you can see the output here. The status code is printed 200 means it's successful, and time taken to run this is 844 milliseconds, and the status is passed, and you can see everything here, and you can like get some other things as well printed in here, right? So let me show you response dot yes, we can get yes, we can get the get header, right? And we have to give the type here as, let's say, content type, and what else? Okay, I'll just copy these things. Sorry. Yes, we can get the body, and then so we can get it as a string. So what other things? We can get the now we have printed the status code, and same as that, we can get the status line here. Yes, something like this. So we can save this, and now we can run this as well, and we'll check the output. um, yes, it's green color. That means it's passed. So in here, other than the previous things, you can check. Uh, yeah, now here the time taken to pass or to run the test case is a bit higher than earlier, and then the status code is same as earlier, 200, and we have printed the header, right? So it's getting printed like this. Uh, yes, it's very long. It's like this. And other than that, we have printed the body. Yeah. And the status line. That is this one. This is the body, and yes. Okay. So I think we have covered that part. Now the next part is we have to add assertions, right? Okay, so assertions, we use assertions. Say for example, if you know the value of a particular say this one status code, right? So you know it should be 200 in order to pass the test case, right? But in actual scenario, we want to catch it whether we get 200 or not. In such scenarios we can use assertions, right? So for that I use this one, assert dot assert equals, right? Okay, for this one, yes, for this one we have to give the actual value. That means, so let's, yes, in here you have to give the actual one. Actual one means I can give either this one response dot get status code, but I can simply copy this and give assign it to a variable and then give it directly there, right? Int say status code equals to this one, and you have to end it using a semicolon, and here you can give the value of the status code. Okay, so you can assert this one. So assertion is something like that, you know the like you should get this value, and you are checking in actual scenario whether you are getting this one or not. So in such cases you can use this one. So if we run this, you can simply save it and run it. Yes, it's green color, and yes, since we didn't print anything, it's like that. So that's how we are going to assert something. So here also when you click on assert dot, you got several suggestions, so you can try out these things. Mm, and suppose I want to create a failure scenario, then I can simply, now we know the output is getting 200, but in case if you want to generate a fail scenario, I'm going to give 201. That means, um, yeah, it's not successful, right? So let me run this as well, just to generate a failure scenario. Okay, here it's red, right? So if you go to this one, I can see that there comes an assert failure. So like if you go to this one, so maybe I can zoom this a little. No. Yeah, let me expand this. So in here you can see the expected value is 201 but found 200. So there's a conflict. So there we see an assertion failure, right? So that's how that happens. So you know now how to add the assertions, how to run the test cases, and how to run the test cases and how to verify the scenarios. So if you go to the rest assured site, so let me go to this one. So in here you get couple of examples, right? It's better if you can read this, so you can enhance your knowledge. So if you go to this docs section and then go to this getting started URL, and then if you scroll down a bit, and here you get the usage guide. So if you go to that section, and scroll down a bit. So in here you get something like this. So they have given it directly, get lotto, then dot body, then they are checking whether that particular value is equal to 5 or not. So this is another way of asserting things. And in here also, uh, they are checking whether they have this particular query which we get as an output. It contains these two integers, these two numbers or not, right? So that's another way of assertion. So I'll show you that in my upcoming session. So I think you learn majority of the things today. So I think you can practice all these things. So I think this is helpful for you guys. So let's meet in our next session. Thank you.